Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? How are you people doing here? Back again in my usual setting right now. Just got back from New York, and the only thing I have to say is if you ever get the chance or if you ever see the opportunity to go to New York, just do it, okay? You won't regret it. You just need to have the money to be able to afford the trip, but I think it's worth it just because you'll be seeing a lot of cool things over there, and I really enjoyed New York, so I just want to say thank you, New York. Went there for like 4 days, just had a blast over there, saw a lot of fun things, tried a lot of great food. You just got to go there and see for yourself. So yeah, my advice, if you are financially able to, go to New York. Just trust me, you won't regret it. But today, what I want to talk to you people about is just, give my reaction to the Boogie2988 documentary, because as you people know, as somebody who's been here on YouTube for a very, very long time, I still remember the OG YouTube days, Ray William Johnson, for example, because he's the reason why I think he deserves the credit for Boogie2988's success, because, Boogie2988, I watched his content, and the way how Boogie2988 became famous on YouTube was because Ray William Johnson reacted to his videos. Because if people remember the OG YouTube days, Ray William Johnson, he used to be the most famous YouTuber where he would react to viral videos and all that stuff. And I still remember those days, watching Equals 3. But basically, I feel like that over time, when it comes to, YouTubers or influencers, whether it's YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, whenever influencers find fame or, whenever influencers blow up, I sometimes feel like that the influencers let the fame get to their head. And that's what I want to really talk about in this video, because if there is one thing that I took away from watching the Boogie2988 documentary, is that you never ever want to let the social media fame get to your head. And I always knew, with me doing YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, is that you always want to remain humble, okay? Never ever just let the fame get to your head, because I've seen it so many times where influencers, talk about their expensive car or their expensive house. And I just think to myself, why do people on the internet need to know that you're basically doing well for yourself? Like, that's one thing I don't understand, is why do you feel the need to talk about your personal and your financial life on the internet? That's something I just really, for the life of me, can't understand. Because, for example, I would never ever be one of those people where basically I would talk about, hey guys, look at my expensive $30 million house. Yeah, it's like, dude, I would never ever like upload any types of content like that. Like, talking about your expensive stuff, like, why do people on the internet need to know about that? Because what a lot of people don't understand is that this is the internet, and people can just save stuff and just repost it. So basically, in other words, what you put out there on the internet stays forever. And, in the Boogie2988 documentary that I've watched, one thing that I took away from this documentary is that, if, you need to really know how to control your spending habits, because sometimes I feel like too many people nowadays, really don't know how to control their spending habits, because they always feel the need to buy the latest iPhone or the latest expensive car. And me personally, I don't really like having a mentality like that, where I feel the need to, get all the latest cool gadgets and all that stuff, just because it's like, if you can't afford it, then don't buy it. Okay, simple as that. And I just think to myself that people really need to know how to manage their money, especially right now in these, rough times that we are living in, because, where people are struggling financially because of the cost of living going up and all that stuff. Because I've talked to plenty of people where they talked about how they're struggling financially, how they're, doing, Lyft or Uber, as a way to make ends meet, just to pay off their bills, their mortgage, their credit card bills, and all that stuff. And it made me realize here that, knowing how to control your spending habits really goes a long way, okay? And anybody that tells you otherwise is a complete moron, okay? Let me just put it that way, because if there is one thing I've always learned in my personal life, is to just always be careful with the money you have, and also, never brag about how much money you have, okay? Like, why do people do that? I honestly have no idea, but that's besides the point here. So basically, the documentary started off where Boogie basically talked about all the financial debt he's in and all that stuff. And, if I was in Boogie2988's shoes, you know what I would do? I would simply go and get a job, okay? And the reason why I'm saying this is because, when I watched the clip where Boogie was, like, I guess talking to an interviewer or something, one of the first things he talked about was basically reveal, it seemed like, all the skeletons in his closet, and one of the worst things, or one of the things you never ever want to say to any job interviewer or any job recruiter, is basically reveal all the skeletons in your closet. Like, why would you reveal all the skeletons in your closet is beyond me. You just don't do that. But that's what Boogie decided to do here. And obviously the recruiter, or the interviewer, straight up told him that, hey, why do you feel the need to disclose that type of information? Because, with Boogie2988, I still remember watching his Draw My Life video. If you guys remember the Draw My Life era on YouTube, I don't even know if Draw My Life is even still a thing on YouTube, but as somebody who's been here on YouTube a long time, still remember those days too and all that. And Boogie, obviously, I feel like over time with Boogie2988, I think the main thing is that he let the fame get to his head. And that's what I really want to talk about here because, I've seen countless of YouTubers, TikToks, and Instagrammers let the fame get to their heads where they had thousands and millions of followers, and just like that, their life has all of a sudden become ruined, and all that stuff. And I'm going to give you people two great examples of that. If you guys remember this, the Philadelphia Eagles superfan on YouTube who got Chris Hansen 2 years ago, that's one example of why you never want to let the social media fame get to your head. And the second thing the second example I want to talk about is the POV Skyrim TikTok guy. If you guys remember the POV Skyrim TikToker, where basically he made a video of him basically just, basically taking the piss out of the Skyrim the Skyrim video game mechanics and all that stuff. Well, obviously he's now, awaiting trial for unaliving his girlfriend or his wife and her friend. And apparently there was also a part where apparently he pulled out like a big bag of coke in front of a bunch of other people and all that stuff, from what I remember watching in a YouTube video. And that is another example, or the second example, of why you should never ever let the social media fame get to your head and make it feel like you're the most important or the most entitled person on the planet. And one thing I really don't understand about Boogie2988 is just his mentality, okay? Because here's the thing, I wish nothing but the best for Boogie. I hope to see him turn his life around. I do, okay, not afraid to admit it here. I do hope that Boogie2988 manages to turn his life around, because, as somebody who watches content, his Francis videos, they always made my day, even when I was going through my own dark times in life. His content, of course, his Francis freakout videos, they did put a smile on my face and all that. And I'm pretty sure that 99% of people that watch those type of videos, they also did put a smile on your face and all that. And I just think to myself right now that, with all the money that Boogie has earned from YouTube, one thing that what I would have done if I was him is that I would have basically hired a financial advisor. That's what I realistically would have done if I was earning that much money. You know what I would have done? Just basically, like I said, hire a financial advisor, in my opinion. I think hiring a financial advisor can really go a long ways for you. Basically people that advise you how to spend your money efficiently and all that stuff, instead of you just blowing money on all the latest, expensive gadgets or cars or whatever and all that. And I just think to myself that with Boogie, I just think that he really just needs to learn how to control his spending habits, because like what I saw in the first part of the documentary, it seemed like that he basically, didn't really know how to control his spending habits and all that stuff. And now apparently he's in a lot of debt because he also blew a lot of money on crypto. And here's the thing, when it comes to crypto, man, I never really invest in crypto just because, I feel like that crypto is a very volatile thing. Just because, for example, me, I really don't know anything about crypto. I'm gonna be honest here, I don't know nothing about crypto. I just hear the name crypto every now and then, fly around and all that stuff. But, when it comes to investing in crypto, you really have to know what you're doing. And in my honest opinion, I think investing in crypto is just a waste of time and money if you honestly sit there and think about it, just because of how volatile it is. Because, for example, look at FTX. FTX is a great example of just how really, really volatile crypto is. But, this is not a financial video, okay? Let me just put it that way, because, I feel like I'm not really qualified to talk about this. But like I said, man, I personally would not even think about investing in crypto. That's just personally me. But obviously for in Boogie's case, I just think to myself that if there is one thing that I think Boogie should learn, is just to learn from his mistakes. Because obviously with Boogie, I just think that he doesn't really he seems like that he doesn't want to learn from all the mistakes he's made in the past. And if there is one way how I think Boogie can turn his life around, really, is just by basically learning from his mistakes. That's what the first thing he should do, and just maybe acknowledge all the things he said and has done and all that stuff. And the thing that I really didn't understand about the documentary is, why in the hell would you let other people know on the internet that you spent $200,000 on sex workers? Like, dude, why would you even disclose that type of information on the internet? Because like I said, man, what you put out there on the internet stays forever. And I just feel like to myself that the things that people put out there on the internet for other people to see, like, do they even know what the hell they're doing? Because it just seems like that the things that sometimes people put out there on the internet for others to see don't realize that, you know, what they put out there stays forever, okay? Because like I said, this is the internet where people can easily screenshot what you post, or they can easily download a video or edit out a clip and all that stuff. And like I said, man, you know, and even my high school teacher told me this, you know, what you put out there on the internet stays forever. And that's what I think a lot of people need to understand. And with the whole documentary right now, just, you know, like I said, man, one thing that I didn't really understand about this documentary is why in the hell would you brag about spending $200K on sex workers? That's like the price of, that's like the quarter price of a house in California, or like, that's like, I guess the average price of a house somewhere cheap in the US and all that stuff. You know, basically that's like, I guess the average price of property depending where you live in the US. And for you to talk about spending $200,000 on sex workers is just absolutely, in my opinion, a very big mistake that Boogie has made and all that, because the only thing that's going to happen is that people on the internet are just going to ridicule for it, okay? And, you know, if there is one thing you don't want to do on the internet is have people ridicule you in the wrong way, basically, okay? That's what I'm trying to say here, because obviously, I just think to myself that through times whenever I watch content creators, social media influencers talk about things, you know, I just sometimes think to myself that they reveal way too much about themselves on the internet. And that's the thing that I also want to say in this video, is never reveal a lot about yourself on the internet. Like, why do people feel the need to reveal a lot about themselves on the internet, especially about their personal life, is beyond me. Because for me, for example, you know, I don't like talking about my personal life out there on the internet for other people to see, because it's like, first of all, why the hell do other people need to know that? Because they can, for example, take and twist it and, you know, try and maybe create like a false narrative of you and all that stuff. And yeah, man, yeah, just to brag about spending $200,000 on sex workers is just ridiculous. And I think the only reason why people feel the need to sometimes brag on the internet is because, you know, obviously they think that because the money they earn from their social media careers is going to last them a lifetime. They think it's going to, you know, make them feel like that they're the most important people on the planet, when in reality, you know, all that money that you earn, you know, through social media, it's not guaranteed, okay? Basically, in other words, you know, trying to think that pursuing social media as a career is going to be a long-term career, well, you know, that's one thing that I think people need to really think about if you're ever going to pursue a career as an influencer, is you have to ask yourself, you know, is the money that you're making from social media, is it going to last you a lifetime? Or, you know, and it's like, what are you going to do with that money? Okay, that's another thing you got to ask yourself, because obviously when people start earning thousands and millions of dollars, you know, obviously their mindset changes, and then they feel the need to start spending it on all the expensive cars, jewelry, and all that stuff just to try and, you know, look rich. And I think one of the biggest time wasters on social media is trying to look rich, okay? In my opinion, one of the, you know, dumbest things that I've seen people do on social media is basically them try and look rich, okay? Like, trying to look rich is just so stupid and just a waste of time, and it's kind of cringe if you honestly sit there and think about it. And yeah, but yeah, going back to the documentary, obviously, like I said, man, I hope Boogie turns his life around, but the thing that I think Boogie needs to do here is basically drop that I can't mentality, okay? Because once Boogie drops that I can't mentality, and maybe if he actually tries to give an effort and tries to, you know, really, and I mean really give an effort into changing his life around, then, you know, hey, I think that then he can feel a lot more happier, and then I think that he can finally, you know, be that person that he was when he first joined YouTube, when he was, you know, at the top of YouTube still, you know, because I don't think it's too late for Boogie to turn his life around. I do think he can still, you know, turn it around and help himself, you know, get rid of all the debt he's in. But, you know, the thing that he should really do, in my opinion, is just, you know, like I said, like everybody else, like what you do when you graduate from high school or when you graduate from college, is just look for a job, okay? It's not that hard. You just got to go out there and, you know, submit your resumes and all that, and just keep on applying until, you know, somebody hires you. But, you know, one big mistake that Boogie made when he was talking to that recruiter was basically talking about working in the porn industry. Like, why the hell would you even tell that to a job recruiter or a job interviewer? Like, they don't need to know about that, okay? Like, I just don't get why he would even think of the need to disclose that. Like, that's just such a dumb thing that he did, in my honest opinion. But yeah, man, like I said, I don't think it's too late for Boogie to turn his life around, but at the same time, he needs to give off an effort and really drop that I can't mentality, okay? Because that I can't mentality, it's not going to get you anywhere, okay? And that's just the truth about life, okay? And yeah, so that's pretty much here the video, what I wanted to say here. You know, wow, this video is already 15 minutes. I think I already said what I said here. I really have nothing much else to say, but this is just me giving off my reaction to the Boogie documentary and what I think Boogie should do as a way to turn his life around. So yeah, let me know what you think about this video. Peace. I'm gonna leave a link below to the documentary in the description if you people want to watch it. Take care.